Hello and welcome to our daily sketching routine. It is Thursday, February 27th, 2025, and today's topic will be angles and lines. But before we begin, welcome back if you're returning, and welcome if you are new to the channel. I sketch and post every day, and I use timers to stay focused and to build a habit, and I'll start a 10-minute timer. Today's topic, I wanted to go over the concept of angles and lines and how it's basic drawing. Then I thought it sounded like angels and lions, so I'm actually going to draw an angel and a lion right here. For the angel, I just looked up a picture of an angel like statue, and then for the lion it's just a picture of a lion like on Wikipedia or something. So part of this is, it is from reference, so that helps as far as like measurement. But then I also like to do it in such a way that if I were to just draw it, like construct it out of imagination, then I could. So that's why the basics are important. At its most basic level is the idea of like a point. Like, so you can plot things out. So I'm going to just make this picture kind of in the middle of the page here, and do it in such a way that I can fit most of it into the camera. So I'll go like right here. So that's just for me to know the dimensions of the drawing. So there's going to be like an angel and then like a lion, and I like that, the idea of that and that sort of motif. So then the lion can be kind of like right here. So notice that from a basic drawing standpoint, these are just like points, and we haven't even really drawn any line. So this is kind of basic geometry here. So in my mind, I'm thinking, so again, you could sketch this all out. Since I'm doing this with like just a pen without like a pencil drawing or anything, I'm going to be kind of careful with the like these underdrawing part. So yeah, these are just points, and you can actually connect the dots with it. So some of this is coming from obviously practice. I'm going to look at a picture of a lion and an angel. Now I don't put them on the screen because they I mean, to me, like, they're copyrighted, so but it'll be different enough. But yeah, it's just pretty simple to look up something. Now that we talked about the points, and so the proportion, or like the composition, just came about because I want it to fit like this much. And I kind of have an idea. Again, if you want to do like a thumbnail, you could do sort of a if I'm just looking at the reference, it's going to be this kind of composition. So thumbnails are good for this kind of thing. So, and the focal point will be, you can work out values right here if you wanted. That's the idea. It's combining two different ideas. So now that we have the concept of points or dots, the next thing would be the angles and the lines, or the angel and the lion. If you want your picture to be kind of natural looking, there's probably not going to be one that's a line that's like that straight. But let's say you have the straightest kind of looking one. So it'll be kind of like right here. And in the reference photos and also in this drawing, I really don't want too many straight lines because they're not buildings. It looks a little bit more natural if there's more angles to it. But let's say that that's like a straight line. For the other one, could be kind of like right here. Then that's like the arm. So we'll just use that as a kind of guide. As I'm just eyeballing it. So again, you can sketch this out. You can use different ways to measure it if you need to grid the reference, or if you need to like find a way to measure it. I'm just eyeballing it. So the way, and what I mean by that is in the composition, if you look at the thumbnail here, you'll notice that like if I were to put a grid, you can make the grid smaller or larger. I can eyeball it because I'm used to it. So the lion is sort of in this area here, and then the angel will be over here. And then you can see that like the midpoint is about right there. Now we'll make adjustments. That's like the basic idea. So the angle is, and what I mean by that is there's really no straight lines on the reference, on the animal. So that's like an angle. So that's something that you can practice basically. Again, you can sketch this out and then kind of get an idea of like, see, there's no straight lines. Like you could be looking at a life drawing, you could be observing, and you'd be using kind of the same thing. You'd be saying, is this more like of a straight, like a vertical line or a horizontal line? Again, that's what the grid, like if you want to grid it, and then you're just looking at like, is it more this way? Same with this. Like, does this, the back legs, they kind of match. So that's what I mean by angles. Like this sort of matches this. Then you could look at like the face of the lion. And like you're getting like the big shapes. And just sticking with angles and sticking with the proportions, meaning that the proportion is coming from those dots that plotted out, which is coming from like this right here. Well, it's not coming from that, but you could use that. I have reference, so I'm not too worried about it, is what I'm saying. Like if I were inventing a picture like this, maybe, but I mean for something like a lion and an angel, I mean I would probably look at some reference. I mean there's no reason not to. So that's basically what I wanted to explain for this part. And the proportions, so it's like you've got this, like the width, but then you got like, see, like it's telling you, the measurement's telling you the, like where the halfway point is. And then you have the smaller shape, so you have like the lion's head, but then within that you could have the like the smaller proportions within. So in other words, like where is this in relation to the smaller shape? So it's, everything is just relative. So for the angel, I had already established that this would be like the top part. So this was the arm. So it's kind of the same thing. The proportions are already here. So I'm just going to maintain the proportion. Now obviously it takes some practice to kind of be able to accurately gauge the like the proportions. Part of it is figure drawing, so that's what the angel is going to be. I mean the lion is figure drawing, but for like an animal. So notice it's a mix of the proportion. Again, I have reference, so I can see that, like, and also it's just figure drawing, so I can see that like where the proportions are, but then I'm making it like look good in the drawing itself. You can see if the silhouette is like correct or not. So you have like the proportion of the head in comparison to the body, but then you also have the head itself has like a certain proportion to it. Same with like the arms. And just make sure like the angles are So don't think too much about like, oh, am I drawing like an arm? But rather, like, what are the angles of the arm? And that's how you can get a little bit more fluidity too. So I'm just going to work on this right now and then maybe put some music, and so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So yeah, I want to thank you for joining me for our daily sketching routine, and if you like these videos, please support the channel. I appreciate it, and until next time, keep on sketching.